when it comes to these ICE riots, all I'm seeing is lawlessness, 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 especially in LA. And I hate the fact that it's spreading all over the map. They said it's even some of it in Dallas. I haven't seen any out here on the suburbs where I am. But what I will say is looking at them rioting these small businesses, attempting to unalive cops, throwing bricks at the cars and messing up their windows, and they having to stop mid driving because their windows all cracked. And it's like they can do whatever and not get arrested. But it's like if we were assaulting a cop, if we was over a bridge and we dropped a brick or we did all these things that these illegal immigrants and some of these Americans full of hatred are out there doing, we would be arrested. But I guess because they're illegal or because they're protesting ICE, just anything goes. And it reminds me that Christ said, don't build your castle in the sand. You know, when the storm comes, it's going to be washed away. But if you build your house on Christ, the solid rock, he said the watchman that watches without Christ laboreth in vain. But if you build it on Christ, if you store your treasures in heaven, only what you do for Christ will last. He said, if you build your life on things above, on Christ, on God, on holiness, living by the Spirit, not the flesh. He said, if you build your castle in heaven, build your, let your treasures, let the works of your heart not be of this world, but of heaven, of God. He said the thief can't enter. The rust can't corrupt it. The robber can't come into heaven. Build your treasures in heaven where the thief can't enter, the robber can't enter, and where it's not going to rust or decode away. You don't have to worry about nobody breaking into your home or setting your car on fire. This lawlessness really disgusts me, to say the least. It really shows me, honestly, how humans are so deserving to burn in hell. So deserving. We don't respect them. I can't say we, but some don't even respect authority. They don't even respect people's property. You're breaking in, taking stuff that doesn't belong to you. You're trying to unalive cops. One illegal immigrant even, what did he do? Assaulted a cop to the point where he could have, it was a veteran, and I think he was disabled, where he was trying to unalive him, but he wasn't successful. Do you know they let that illegal immigrant go? They didn't even charge him with attempted unalivements. And I'm just thinking in any other country, this wouldn't be allowed. And if American citizens was doing this to each other, they would have arrested us. But I guess because these people are protesting ICE and hate cops, they can sit up here and try to assault, unalive a cop and not even get charged with unattempted. They let him go. Didn't even charge him with unattempted alivement, and then had to bring him back into custody because people was demanding against it that they recharge him. But these people are getting away with unalivement. They're getting away with lawlessness. It looks like worse than, it reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah, Nineveh before they repented. It's just lawlessness, lawlessness, lawlessness in the land. And it's despicable and it's disgusting to me. I be calling them roaches, monkeys, not because I'm racist, but because that's what you acting like. And I personally don't want to live around people that behave, don't have no respect for authority, no respect for your everyday American, for their small businesses. You're stealing, you're trying to unalive, you're trying to cause accidents. You don't have no respect for human life. I wouldn't want my kids around it. I don't want to be around it. And then you're waving flags that are not, you're waving Mexican flags, Guatemalan. I seen one Guatemalan, half American flag, and nothing but Mexican flags. They just start getting some American flags to try to play it off. Not because they want to be here, but because they want to turn it into something it's not. This isn't Mexico. If you hate America, go back to Mexico. God is love. You have to respect authority. He said, respect the laws of the land. And it gives us hope to know that in this world, when people are acting foolish and disobeying the law, one day God's coming to judge. One day we're going to be in a world of peace in heaven, where there's streets of paved with gold and there's mansions, and we don't have to worry about people acting like idiots, people full of hate, people full of racism for the white man, for America, for the black man, for Asians, for Hispanics. We don't have to worry about nobody full of hate, nobody out here burning and looting and stealing and unaliving and graping. We don't have to worry about that because we're protected. And he said, outside are the dogs, the thieves, the unalivers, the grapers, the witches, the warlocks, the effeminate. We don't have to worry about it. Sometimes you be looking at the world to come as a saint, as a child of God, and thinking, come, Lord, come. It's getting crazy out here. The sin level, the men wanting to be women wanting to be men, the child grooming, the lawlessness, the no respect for authority, the hatred, the racism. And then what is America becoming with these terrorists over here that they're calling migrants or illegal immigrants protesting ICE? I stand with ICE. I stand with Christ, and God is love. But he's also a God of perfect judgment. He's also the same God that said, obey the rules of the land as well as this word, as well as my word. And if you can't do that, God will be an enemy of you. And that's what's happening, lawlessness. So we need to pray for America. We need to pray for the cops, pray for our military, pray for the Navy, the Marines they're sending in, the Marines, the Army, the good cops. Everybody's not a cricket cop. Every white person isn't racist. Every black person isn't ratchet. Every Mexican isn't illegal or tasteless or unclassy. You got good and bad people in every group. So we need to pray for our good cops. And we need to pray that God restores order in California. This just lets me know, as a conservative, and I am a black conservative, but this just lets me know I definitely don't need to raise my kids up in any liberal democratic city, to always be on the lookout that, even as Texas is a Republican state, to stay within Republican walls, stay within Republican cities, at least states, or at least cities that lean Republican. Because if not, you risk being in World War III. It doesn't even feel like America. It feels like you're living in a live war where the cops, they're not even able to defend themselves. I see these women just beating these cops up. It's terrible. It's lawless. It's disgusting, y'all. And if I'm thinking that, and I'm a human, I know y'all think I'm looking down. Y'all, how are you fighting for people that disrespect authority, that's fighting cops, that's burning, trying to unalive cops, that's looting small businesses? These are Californians that started small businesses probably from scratch. Some of them probably came over legally. Some of them are probably their people, and they're looting their businesses. How am I supposed to hear what you're saying when you're behaving that way? Yeah, but if I feel that way, imagine, how God feels about sin in general and lawlessness. This is why he tells us to obey the laws of the land. But this just let me know, Maxine Waters, this just let me know not to stay in democratic states. Maxine Waters and Newsome, they need to be fired. And we need to pray for California, and we need to pray for America, and we need to pray for the world. That people accept Jesus, that they obey Jesus, and that the government and our president turn to Christ, and that he fills them with the Holy Spirit, that he allows them to lead the right way. Democrats will ruin us all. Our country will be destroyed. We see what they're allowing to happen to California. And then when Trump tries to correct it and send in the Marines, they say that's racist. They say you're causing danger. Is this not them burning cars and trying to unalive policemen, throwing live objects and cracking their screens? Is that not dangerous? Setting buildings on fire and busting out windows and busting concrete, is that not terrorists? This is horrible. This is lawlessness. We need to restore order. We need to pray for our leadership instead of hate our leader. We need to pray for Trump, and we need to pray that California government is fired. And y'all, we have to definitely pray that we stick with Republican states and cities, that God leads them, because these Democrats, I'm telling you, if America doesn't repent, they're going to be the unalivement of America. God is fed up, because I'm sure fed up with them. If they get back in office, woe unto America. They are enemies of Christ. They don't even know how to run their own state or protect American citizens. Why would they want to run the country? You see how they're letting the terrorists take over and burn and unalive and try their best to unalive a cop, and then just let them go without charges and loot businesses and nobody gets arrested. So imagine if they were president. We wouldn't be protected from none of these communist nations, from Putin or another. We wouldn't be protected. And I know y'all say, oh, Trump is Putin's friend, but it would just be bad. They would let everybody run over us. This would be a terrorist. It wouldn't even be America. The whole place would be on fire. So we need to pray that God restores order, even in these democratic cities, and that he gets Democrat officials out of the land or out of their office. But if they don't, we got to stay within Republican walls, conservative walls, and we still have to pray for our leadership. And we need to pray for those that are in these liberal cities, that Jesus saves and restores order, because Democrats and these illegals and these people full of hate, they don't follow order. They don't respect anyone. They have no class. They have no heart. They have no conscience. They're living monsters, Nephilims, and that will ruin America. So we have to put an end to this. We need prayer, and we need authority, and they need to be held accountable. They need to be arrested, and they need to be deported, because this is despicable. It's disgusting, and it's sad. And me as an American, I'm tired of seeing this. We're tired of this. We're tired of it.